Hey there, health lovers. Welcome to The Scoop, where we serve you straight nutrition talk, one scoop at a time. I'm Rachel. I'm a dietitian. I'm a wife. I'm a mom of two busy boys, and I am a big fan of making small, healthy changes that can lead to big results. So grab your coffee, your water bottle, or even your afternoon snack and settle in. We're about to dive into today's scoop. And trust me, these simple tips are going to make healthy living feel a whole lot easier. Let's get started. Any and all opinions and views shared by hosts and guests on this podcast are the speaker's own and do not represent the views of LiveitUp or its affiliates or parent company. All right, guys, welcome back to The Scoop. Serving straight nutrition talk, one scoop at a time. I'm Rachel, your host. I'm a registered dietitian, and we are on episode 2. We're still babies here. So we are building a healthier diet, one meal at a time. And this is actually the first of 4 segments. We're going to break it down into breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. We will probably break it down further in the future because we know you can break down nutrition as small as possible. But the reason why we're breaking it down is because overhauling your entire diet can feel really overwhelming. So we're going to start with just one meal. Now, when people want to make changes to their diet, if they feel like they want to lose weight or they just feel like they want to be healthier, they want to jump in. They want to overhaul the entire thing, see quick results. And this is why a lot of us are drawn to diets. They promise easy fixes, fast results. And the problem is that most commercial diets are unsustainable, they're extreme, they cut out too many food groups, they're too strict, and they simply do not feed our need for tasty foods, right? What is a long-term success? Long-term success means you're eating foods that you can see yourself eating for the long term that are also healthy. So if you think about it, the word diet has the word die in it. It doesn't last. So instead of this short-term magic that usually doesn't last, the goal is long-term lifestyle change. But that feels really daunting, right? Changing your entire diet for your entire life. Doesn't that sound yucky? So, and what does that even mean, right? So let's break it down into micro habits because that's what we're all about here. We're about the micro habits. So instead of thinking about every meal and every snack of every day and how overwhelming it would be to change all of that, focus on one meal at a time. We're going to start with breakfast. Now, I know breakfast is controversial. Some people say it's not needed, but I am firmly in the pro-breakfast camp. Even if you follow intermittent fasting, because that, I know that was some of your next question, right? I skip breakfast because I intermittent fast. Now, newer studies are actually showing that it's better to have an earlier IF window, which includes breakfast, than having a later window. Just something to think about for you IF fans out there. So while research does not show that eating breakfast can help you lose weight necessarily, it does show many other benefits. So eating an early meal gets your metabolism started for the day. This means that your furnace is burning hotter, you're using more calories earlier. Studies show that concentration and mood are improved at work and at school after eating a quality breakfast. And there's even some research indicating that people who eat breakfast may typically have lower LDL, cholesterol. They may have lower blood pressure. They may have a higher HDL, which is the good cholesterol. And so, there are definitely benefits in there in terms of your internal health, right? Also, from personal experience, from my work with my own clients, front loading calories seems to help to reduce overeating later in the day. This is a bonus. Later in the day, your hunger tends to build up and it can become a problem for afternoons, for the evening. Listen, let's get ahead of it. Let's front load your calories. So let's get into the nitty gritty. How can we make a micro habit out of breakfast? Now, the goal is not just to eat something, anything, right, in the morning, but rather to eat something that banks into your health savings and that does not make a debit you'll have to pay back later, right? Because donuts are delicious, but you might have to pay them back later. So we could lose weight just eating pastries and donuts, but our body would not be happy, right? Our underlying goal is always how to make small incremental changes to help improve our health. And breakfast is like any other meal. It's an opportunity to fuel your body with the micro and macronutrients it needs for optimal health. Let's break it down into 3 parts. You want to think protein, you want to think fruits and vegetables, and you want to think complex carbohydrates. And you want to fit in some healthy fats in there. This is your golden, I said 3 parts, right? It's 4 parts. So this is your golden quartet. So protein is going to help you feel satisfied. It's going to help you feel fuller for longer. It's going to help support your metabolism and your muscle mass. And it's going to help provide the building blocks to repair after injuries. Now, great breakfast protein sources include things like eggs, dairy, things like cottage cheese, yogurt, or cheese. Complex carbohydrates are your energy boost. These not only contain vitamins and minerals, but also antioxidants, fiber. You can find these in whole grains, things like whole rolled oats, quinoa, buckwheat, millet, whole wheat, amaranth. These are all whole grains. I know some of them I haven't even cooked with, but they're all great options. Complex carbs can also come from things like beans and legumes. Because they're high in fiber, fiber helps to fill us up just like protein does. But it's also broken down into metabolites in our gut, and these are things like short chain fatty acids that help our intestinal cells um, be healthy, help them digest well, and helps impact our health in other ways. And stay tuned because we're going to be talking about short chain fatty acids in an upcoming episode. So you definitely want to tune in for that because they are kind of amazeballs for our guts. Okay. All right. So fruits and vegetables are nature's multivitamin. And I'm going to say this so many times because I truly believe that fruits and vegetables are going to provide the body with a lot of these bioactive phytonutrients that are so important for our health. And research, if there's one thing that research agrees on, and there's not a lot that research agrees on when it comes to nutrition, it's that plants are so good for us and that the more plants we have in our diet, the better. So fruits and vegetables are also complex carbohydrates, right? Getting enough of these helps to reduce internal inflammation, helps to really reduce your risk of chronic disease, helps to increase your fiber intake, helps you feel more satisfied. So fruits and vegetables, really good for you. Make sure they're part of your breakfast. And the last part of our golden quartet are healthy fats. And these are critical to healthy cells, to your immune system, to hormone production. Getting the right kinds of fats also helps to reduce your risk of different diseases. So think about avocados, olive oil, nuts, such things as walnuts and almonds. You can think of seeds like ground flax. Side note, ground flax, not whole flax, or else you're not getting the nutrition because your body can't break down those whole flax seeds. All right, chia is great, pumpkin seeds, you name it, seeds are good for you. So you just need a little sprinkle because these little nuggets go a long way, right? As my grandma would say, just a dabble do ya. Okay, I know this feels like a lot. We've talked about the golden quartet, but here's how you microhabit it. First, I want you to pick your protein. Okay. Next, I want you to pick your vegetable and or fruit. These could also double as your complex carb depending on what your goals are, or you could also add a whole grain. I want you, when you think about grains, is to think about them as the side dish here, if you're having them. Your main attraction are the protein and the fruit or vegetables, and then, your grain is a part of that. It's not the primary thing. And lastly, where are your healthy fats? All right. So you've thought about where these things could come from. Now, remember, healthy fats, just a smidge. I want you to write down your breakfast ideas. Let's habitize it. I think I just made up a word. That's okay. Okay, so first, you need the ability to make it happen, right? We talked about this, make it happen. That means having the right groceries on hand and ready to go. Maybe you have to reduce your morning prep time by making a few things ahead of time, right? Maybe you batch cook a lot of oats or quinoa. Maybe you hard boil or scramble some eggs that you keep in the fridge. You take them out, you heat them up when you need them. Reheating stuff like that, that makes for a quicker meal when you're in the time crunch in morning. Next, you want your prompt, right? Your contextual cue. How will you remember this new and improved breakfast, right? Maybe it means setting your morning alarm for 15 minutes earlier to make room for this micro habit. Maybe it means setting out one of the meal parts as that reminder to slap that breakfast together. You could leave an apple on the counter. Maybe your morning hunger cue is all that you need as a reminder. So think through all the challenges that might pop up for you. Is it time? Is it preparation? How will you conquer these obstacles? Think through these scenarios so that you are ready. Because if you go in there just saying, I'm going to eat a healthy breakfast, it's probably not going to happen, right? You got to plan it out. So I recently changed up my morning routine in a couple of ways. First, I added that glass of water. Some people say you should have it before coffee, but really for me, I have to have my coffee first. So then I add in the water because this dehydration thing in the drier weather, it's big time. Okay, I have to admit, still trying to make it a habit. That's okay. We're all working on things and we should always try to better ourselves. I also kind of felt like my morning meal was sometimes lacking. Again, I'm spending time in the morning making breakfast and lunches for my kids. My own needs were really falling behind. So, in addition to making sure that I have an easy protein and some sort of fruit around, I started including a greens drink. For me, I feel like it just helps me get my day started on the right foot. It sets my intention for the day. It also helps with hydration because that's forcing me to drink more fluids. I'm getting different nutrients than I'd normally get. And I like that. It helps me feel good. All right, back to you. So I want you to choose one breakfast micro habit to focus on. Listen, if you're going all in and choosing a protein plus a veg plus a complex carb and thinking about fats too, if that's too much for you, I want you to choose just one or two of these. I want you to commit to them. I want you to write it down. What will you be accomplishing this week? Get to the grocery store, prep if you need to. Remember that your health is worth all the extra effort and time that it may take. If your health isn't at its peak, how will you help take care of those around you? What does your long-term health look like? So let's do the work, one micro habit at a time.